As you may know, Davinci Resolve offers a range of really powerful tools, but in my opinion, knowing how and where to use them is just as important as knowing what they actually do. So in today's video, I will walk you through one of the most versatile tools available in Davinci Resolve, and it's the depth map effect. With the depth map effect, you can add text behind your subject, enhance the lighting on the foreground, or make the background appear more out of focus. But beyond these examples, I want to show you how to integrate this effect into a full color grading workflow. Now, it's worth noting that this effect isn't available in the free version of Davinci Resolve, but maybe this video will give you that extra push to consider upgrading the software. Let's dive right in. Okay, I'm on the color page and here is the shot I will be working on. Now, it's worth pointing out that this effect works best when there is a clear separation between your subject and the background. That's why I chose this particular image. Also, this shot isn't in log, so we can get started right away. I will start by adding a few notes to set up the structure. Let's call the first one balance. The second will be exposure, and the third one is going to be adjustments using the log wheels. The fourth will be saturation curve. I'm adding two more nodes, one for the depth map, and the final one will be our adjust node, where the actual adjustments will happen. Okay, this should be a good starting point. I will add more nodes as we go. I will start with the exposure node. First, I will increase the contrast slightly. To avoid affecting the skin tones too much, I will lower the pivot. 0.335 will be a good level. Then I will push the contrast up, initially going a bit further than needed and pulling it back for control. I will also dial down the temperature just a touch. Next, I want to balance the image using the primaries wheels. On the offset wheel, I will reduce the red levels just a little. Then I will cool down the lift, warm up the gamma slightly with a hint of yellow, and finally shift the gain subtly towards the blue tones. I'm keeping all of these changes at a very minimal level. This is before and this is after. It's a solid starting point. Now moving on to the next node, but actually I forgot to add something. Let me drop in another node here. Here I will use custom curves to create more contrast. I will start by adding a point in the shadow region to deepen the blacks. Then I will add another point around the midtones and lift it up slightly. After that, I will pull down the highlight point to soften the brightest parts. And finally, I'm going to add one more point in between to help bring a bit more structure to the highlights. In addition, to avoid crashing the blacks too much, I'm going to lift the last point on the curve just slightly. Okay, this is before and this is after. We are slowly getting to a really nice level. Let's move on to the balance node. There's a noticeable warm tone across the image, and I want to reduce that a bit. Using the offset wheel, I will pull the point slightly towards the blue quadrant. This is before and this is after. It's looking good. And we have only used just 3 nodes to get to this level, which is pretty impressive. Let's move quickly through the rest of the base adjustments and then dive into the effect itself. I will continue with the saturation curve node. I will go into the saturation versus luminance tab under the curves panel. To increase overall color intensity, I'm pulling down the point on the far right just a little. Then I will add a control point in the middle to shape it into a curve. This gives us more control over where the effect is applied. Next, I'm heading to the color slice panel to increase the overall saturation level of our image. Okay, this is before and this is after. Very nice. Finally, let's move to the log wheels node. There's a slight imbalance in the highlights that I want to fix. Now, actually, it's not really a problem. I just want to create a specific look here. Inside the primaries panel, I will switch to the log wheels and simply shift the highlights slightly towards the red region. While doing this, I'm focusing on the scopes. This is before and this is after. As you can see, even though it's a subtle change, it has a noticeable impact. So far, these are all the adjustments we've made. Now it's time to move on to the main effect. I'm selecting the depth map node. Then, from the effects library, I will locate the depth map effect and drop it onto the node. When applied, the depth map preview is enabled by default, so we can see it directly in the viewer. In this view, the white areas represent the region that will be affected by our changes. The black and the gray areas will be affected less or not at all. Depending on your system, you can choose the quality level. I'm going with better here. Now we need to refine the mask selection. I will go to adjust map levels and increase the far limit until the background becomes completely black. Then I will lower the near limit until the foreground turns fully white. At this point, our selection is basically ready, but we can further refine it using the other controls in this panel. I will skip the isolation section because I don't need it, but inside the Map Finesse menu, I will enable post-processing. This helps smooth out the edges of our selection. I'm increasing the blur radius slightly and reducing the post filter just a touch. Okay, now we can turn off the preview. And if you toggle the effect on and off right now, nothing will happen because we have only created the selection. We haven't actually made any changes yet. So I move over to the adjust node. There is one more important thing you should pay attention here. I will connect the alpha output from the depth map node to the adjust node. This means any adjustments we make in this node will only affect the masked area defined by the depth map. But in this case, I only want to affect the background. That's also very easy. I will go back to the depth map node and simply check invert. Now only the background will be affected. Okay, first I will increase the gain slightly using the primaries panel, then lower the lift and shift the gamma towards a tealish green hue. This time I'm pushing the adjustments a bit further than usual. As you can see, the background starts to separate from the subject, but the image is started to feel a bit unnatural. So I will go into the node key panel and reduce the key output to about 50%. This is before and this is after. We have created a completely new feeling in the image. From here, you can go back into primaries panel and fine-tune the look until it feels just right for you. This is before and this is after. Okay, great. Now I want to make a few adjustments that will affect the subject in the foreground. To bring the background and foreground together a bit more, we can use a simple trick. I will right-click on the adjust node, go to add node and select outside node. This node will apply changes to the opposite of the previous selection. In this case, it will affect the foreground more than the background. Here I will slightly increase the gain and lower the lift just a touch. This is before and this is after. Alright, from this point forward, every adjustment I make will be for just stylizing the image. I will add one of my favorites and most used effects, the glow effect. First, I will lower the shine threshold and set the composite type to soft light. Then I will fine-tune the gain and opacity to control the strength of the glow. This is before and this is after. Very nice, subtle but effective. To bring even more attention to our subject, we can add a vignette. From the window panel, I will add a circular mask. Then I'm gonna adjust its position and softness and invert the mask. After that, I will slightly lower the gamma to darken the edges. But actually, I don't want it to be too obvious, so I will bring the gamma back up a bit. This is before and this is after. Okay, this looks better. At this point, the highlights and shadows feels a little too pronounced to me, so I will go back to the adjust node and reduce their intensity a bit. Alright, you can see the change after the depth map effect with just these three nodes here. And I would say that's pretty solid. Okay, to add even more texture to the image, I'm going to use halation and grain. For that, I will be using Film Look Creator tool. I will start by selecting the Clean Slate preset. Then from the effects panel, I will activate both halation and grain. You can tweak these settings entirely based on your personal taste. Finally, I want to add one last touch. An effect I think really fits this look. I'm gonna add one more node at the end and drop the prism blur effect onto it. This is one of those dreamy and surreal effects that can add a sense of haze or illusion to your images. By using the parameters on the right, I will adjust the strength of the effect. But I don't want it to affect our subject. So I will add a circular window and click invert. Now the effect only applies to the outer edges. This is before and this is after. I think it adds a really interesting feeling. So this is where we started and this is our final look. Let's go over what we did. Once again, I started with the exposure, adding a bit of contrast and bringing some balance. Then I deepened the image using custom curves. In the balance node, I used offset to reduce the warmth a bit. With log wheels, I corrected the highlights. Then I moved on to the saturation curve node, which added more color depth. I used depth map to isolate the background and give it a unique tone. And then with the outside node, I balanced the foreground. After that, I stylized the look using effects like glow, vignette, halation, grain, and prism blur effect. As you can see, what you can create inside Resolve is only limited by your imagination. Buying the paid version might feel expensive at first, but honestly, what you gain in return is, I think, priceless. And just to be clear, this isn't a sponsored video, these are just my personal thoughts. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And if you want to see more tutorials, more videos like this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.